Investors are paying super close attention to Nvidia's upcoming stock split. The company is doing a 10-for-1 stock split. It's going to happen after the market closes on June 7th. That means that if you own one share of Nvidia today, on June 8th, when the market opens, you'll have 10 shares of Nvidia in your portfolio. Again, 10 shares for every one share that investors own today. A lot of investors are trying to figure out, is this a trading opportunity? Is it time to trade on this stock split? Some investors are saying, you know what, I need to sell right now and I'm going to buy after the split because the stock price is going to fall. Other investors are saying, you know what, I want to buy now because the stock is going to pop after the split and then I can sell and make a quick profit. I'm Jason Hall. This is Investing Unscripted. I'm going to give you some reasons why buying or selling on either side of the stock split might not be the best thing to do anyway. And I want to describe how I've managed to get my best profits from Nvidia stock. Before we get into the details, though, this video is sponsored by The Motley Fool. If you're looking for even more great stock ideas, Nvidia's been on a great run. Not the only winning stock that you can find. Go to our special link. It's fool.com/unscripted. Go to that link. The Motley Fool is going to give you its 10 best stocks to buy right now. That's 11 great stock ideas on top of what I'm going to tell you about Nvidia. Watch the video for more insight on Nvidia. Go to that special link for the Motley Fool's 10 best stocks to buy right now. Okay, the first thing, I want to break down some misconceptions about exactly what's happening. We did a video last week that had a ton of people taking a look at about Nvidia, trying to clear up some of the noise, talk about where I think investors should be focusing for the opportunity. There's a lot of folks that still don't know exactly what's going on, a lot of misconceptions. So this is as of the market open on June 6th. So we've still got all of today and then tomorrow's trading before the split happens. And as of the most recent pricing this morning, Nvidia shares trade for just under $1,210, $1,209 and 50 cents. Let's just say that we froze the price right here, today's price, and we froze it and we split the stock right now. What would happen for investors is every one share worth that $1,209.50 would become 10 shares worth $120.95. So if I own that one share today worth $1,209.50, after the split, I would own 10 shares worth, you got it, $1,209.50. The economic value stays the same. So why is Nvidia doing the stock split? So what does that mean? I want to take it to the next level because like one thing, I had a commenter on one of the videos that we did say the price to earnings ratio is going to fall. It's 70 times earnings right now. That's going to fall to 7 times earnings after the split. No, it's not. The stock price is going to fall substantially, but the share count is going to go up 10x. So the multiple is not really going to change that price to earnings ratio. It's not going to make the stock suddenly cheap on a valuation basis. The economic value of each stock is going to change. Let's say you've got a pizza, it's 8 slices, right? What Nvidia is doing is taking that pizza now that's 8 slices, and they're going to cut it up into 80 slices. Little tiny thin 80 slice pizza. You still got just as much pizza. The whole pizza is still the same amount of pizza. It's just the slices are smaller, right? If you're going to buy a slice of an 8-piece pizza, you're going to pay 10 times more than you will for one slice of an 80-slice pizza. That's what's happening. That's the thing that is really important to understand. Now, why is Nvidia doing it? So there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's just like most tech companies, has a lot of stock-based compensation because the stock has gone parabolic over the past few years. It's going to make it easier for the company to pay out stock-based compensation in whole shares because that's inexpensive stock to do it. So it'll make it a little bit easier for them for stock-based compensation. And even though everybody now can pretty much go to a broker that lets you buy fractional shares, let's say you don't want to spend $1,000 or $1,200 in Nvidia, you only have $500 you want to invest this month or $200, you can buy fractional shares. You can tell your broker, I want to invest $500 in Nvidia, and it'll buy whatever that fraction is. Even though we can do that, it's still, a lot of investors still prefer to buy whole shares, and it makes the stock look more attractive to retail investors if it's trading for $120 a share versus $1,200 a share. It just feels more, available, right? It feels easier to be able to buy, even though it really doesn't change it. All right, so that's what's happening. That's why Nvidia is doing it. Now, the question you might have, is it time to buy? Should I be buying shares now before the split happens? Well, I'm going to share an article from one of my colleagues over at the Motley Fool, Trevor Genowine, that was published on June 6th, the morning of June 6th. History says the stock will do this next. Hint, it may shock you. I'm going to bring down here to the bottom, and this is going to surprise a lot of people. If you look at the 5 stock splits Nvidia has done in the past, one time over the next 2 years, the stock has gone up. Every other time, the stock has gone down. Now, there's a caveat there. A couple of those splits happened before the financial crisis. 2 of them happened at the beginning of and during the dot-com crash when tech stocks were falling. So there's a little bit of caveat there that was kind of the timing. The one time on that chart did go up a lot was back in 2021 when they did a 4-for-1 stock split. That's a caveat there. Now, what's the stock going to do? The stock's gone up a ton, so we could see somewhat of a sell-off after the split happens. Though people in the camp of saying the stock's going to go even higher, there's a case to be made for that too, right? This share price, again, we talked about, falling from $1,200 a share to $120 a share. Even though I explained it, it's just the pizza getting cut up into smaller pieces. That $120 share gives you 10% as much Nvidia as one share does today. It still just feels more accessible, right, as an investor. So we could see the stock move even higher. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I want to share what, for me, how I've made my best returns on Nvidia. And it's real simple. It's a focus on what the company's trying to do, owning one of these generationally incredible businesses that's really at the cusp of a brand new market, a new way of computing, and has the best technology that essentially everybody that wants to do artificial intelligence, they pretty much have to use NVIDIA if they want to stay at the forefront of developing AI. Now, they do a lot more than that as well. I just want to share a couple slides from their presentation and that talks about what is happening that's behind driving this amazing growth. So this is just a look at revenue. We'll talk about profits in just a minute, but I want to go back to the second quarter of 2023. So we're looking at it'll be about 2 years ago when they report second quarter, fiscal 2025. Yes, it's fiscal 2025, not 24, because it ends in January of 2025. So your fiscal year is when it ends. So that's why it's 2025 for the people out there that thought I was crazy on the prior video referring to it as fiscal 2025. But here's the point, $6.7 billion in revenue. In that year ago second quarter, they in just the quarter they just reported, their first quarter, they added almost $20 billion in revenue in less than 2 years. And they're saying $28 billion is their Q2 revenue forecast. The data center number, this one up here, this is where most of the AI stuff lives, that has just absolutely gone parabolic. I want to show a couple of other charts. They're rolling out Blackwell. It's in full demand. H200 is also in demand. So this is on top of Hopper, which has been their super successful GPU platform, so well for AI, those large language models behind generative AI. Now, here's what they're saying. I think this is important. We're hearing word out there that there's a lot of people in the industry that say that demand, the CapEx spending could shoot to $300 or $400 billion as soon as 2027. That's like 4 times larger than we're likely to see this year. And NVIDIA is saying, look, demand for H200 and Blackwell, it's ahead of supply. And they are expecting that demand is going to be ahead of supply well into next year, well into calendar 2025, which would be their fiscal year 2026. So they're saying, look, demand is strong. It's really outpacing what we're able to produce with Taiwan Semiconductor, our manufacturing partner. And we think that's going to remain the case for some time to come, right? So here's the thing, guys. That's the fundamental thing that's going to make you money. It's not trying to trade around a stock split, right? The trading game's a hard game. If you're looking at a video on YouTube trying to figure out whether you should trade around it, you're probably not the kind of investor that's qualified to be successful as a trader. Trading is hard. You pretty much have to do it full time, and you have to be disciplined with a certain kind of skill set and using certain kinds of research to be successful as a trader. Let me tell you this, the best money that I've made on NVIDIA was buying shares, and this wasn't that long ago, back in 2017, after the coming stock split, I bought for around $3.75 a share. So about 37 and change based on the current $1,200 share price. Buying the company and letting the work of the company generate results as their profits have grown, as they've been the leader with their GPUs and the software and their CUDA ecosystem. That's the thing. I've let Jensen Huang do the hard work for me. I've let NVIDIA's founder and CEO and the people that he's brought to them, the data scientists, the engineers, the smart people on AI, the software developers, I've let them do the hard work. I've just owned the company It sounds simple, but the point is that by buying the shares and then sitting on my hands and letting time go by, that's how NVIDIA has been a big winner for me. And I haven't tried to make 10% here, 5% there, maybe get a 20 or 30% pop if I'm lucky, chasing gains, trying to trade the stock. I really want to recommend most individual investors stay away from that game. It's not the game that we can succeed in. Know your long-term goals, invest money that you can just let sit on the sideline for 5+ years at a time. That's where you can generate great wealth. And I think that's exactly the same case with NVIDIA today. As much as there's excitement around the stock split and the potential of a pop, maybe making some money or thinking about maybe it's going to drop and I can cash out now and then I can buy it when it's cheaper, there's massive risk of trying to trade around something that's so unpredictable as that. NVIDIA is at the beginning of something massive. There's a lot of uncertainty. We're going to have to see the Microsofts of the world, the Metas of the world, the Alphabets of the world, Google's parent company, start to take their AI investments and turn them into profits. That's really what's going to tell us about the future for AI and what happens over the next 3, 5, 10 years. If we start seeing them make the transition from lots of billions of dollars in investments into NVIDIA GPUs, developing AI and take that AI and make a marketable product that they can make profits with, there's a good reason that NVIDIA stock has jumped so much and could continue running. Owning it for the long term, I think, is a much safer investment than trying to trade around the stock split.